Good morning, Guam. Good morning.
Woo! Look at that.
And again, good morning. Hey, KUAM TV, welcome to the link. It's the Thursday, May 6th episode of the show. The year is 2021. The place, Guahan. Good morning.
I don't even think Photoshop has that many shades of blue.
It's a beautiful day
Oh, man.
in the neighborhood of the Quarantine Hotel as we present you Sabrina Salas-Matanani live from the Dusitani. That rhymes. Sabrina Salas-Matanani, be up in the Dusitani. Welcome back, Bree.
Thanks. Let me sit up here. Yeah, so I'm back on Guam after my unexpected trip to Vegas, and my father fell ill. So of course, when your family member is sick, you got to go, right?
Yeah. Bree, a friend of mine had shot me a WhatsApp. He said, "Wow, Bree got a suite at the Dusitani." Is that what you got? I mean, is it? Are all the rooms like that? Do you know?
I don't know. This is my first time staying here at the Dusitani. They just told me this is your room, and here I am. I didn't get a choice or anything like that, so I don't know.
Can you tell us a little bit about? And we're gonna play her quarantine video in a little bit.
Take us around the room, Bree.
Yeah, but what about like the food and the other types of services that you get while you're in quarantine?
You get 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They run a tight ship here at the National Guard, like between 8 and 8:30. I think they deliver breakfast. But actually, it was early today. I got it when we were in the interview with Mr. Byrne.
I was going to say,
I think around 12 o'clock.
We need to tell people what happened behind the scenes, because even Mr. Byrne goes, Sabrina, I believe someone's knocking at your door. So we took her off camera and we're like, hey, you should go answer the door and get your breakfast, man.
Yeah, and my breakfast is.
All right, let's see.
Look at all these containers.
And Bree keeps containers. We know this.
Okay.
It does look like pancakes.
No, it is eggs. Some of these, the waffle fries, and sausage.
Wow.
That's breakfast. They actually give you a lot of food, and I have not really eaten a lot of it. I'll just take a couple of bites. Feel bad. It's not good to waste food, but I haven't been all that hungry. So you get lunch, you get dinner, comes with dessert, cookies, fruit, things like that.
Is it worth $20 million? Bree. So anyway, guys, we talked before Bree flew back in, and I was like, "Yeah, zoom in from the quarantine, and we'll just talk smack about it." She's like, "I ain't talking smack," because she's the one in there. Right?
Bree, you look like you're pretty high up.
I'm on the 18th floor.
Oh,
wow.
That's a gorgeous view.
Wow.
Yeah, and Nestor is over at the Dusit Outrigger. So we should actually get him on and see what his experience is like. It's
kind of funny because we've got Bree in the quarantine, and then Nestor's in the quarantine, and then our buddy Nick Delgado is from the Post also in the quarantine. So, Gov Guam, you guys are going to do anything, now's the time to do some funny business.
Or Gov Guam is also saying, guys, let us not do anything wrong in the quarantine, because we got 3 really, really good reporters there right now. So, and they've got nothing to do but type.
Yeah.
No, it's funny because we celebrated Cinco de Mayo together via FaceTime last night. We had nothing else to do.
Right, yeah. That's Thursday, May 6th. We're checking with Bree and get a little bit about her journey flying into Guam and into the quarantine. And also talk to her about what it was like out there in the States as far as COVID. You know, we did open the show with her. And I think the takeaway I got from what you'd said, Bree, is it's a little like night and day comparing what they're doing, the protocols that are in place in the States versus what we're living under here on Guam, right?
Very different. Over here, you know, everybody was wearing masks in Vegas, but I don't want to say that there wasn't a strong emphasis on social distancing, probably like no emphasis.
Yeah.
As soon as I landed in Vegas, it was like wide open.
Yeah.
My brother was in the airport. I was surprised he met me there because when I landed, I was like, I wonder how I'm going to find my brother because this is a pretty big airport here in Vegas. But sure enough, he was there at the baggage claim waiting for me. And I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, what? And I go, are you even supposed to be in here? And he's like, yeah, we're like 80% open or whatever it was. It's like, okay. And it was just night and day. When you go into the stores here, you get checked, right? Over there, it's walk on in. And like I mentioned earlier, I wasn't sure, how do you do contact tracing? Because it's like your name, you don't write your name down or anything. It's just like, come on in. Even when I mentioned earlier about when I went to brunch, totally just freaked me out because you could pick your food. Yeah. Before it was, they get their food for you and they put it on your plate.
Yeah.
But no, you walk in and take what you want. And of course, I was a little bit paranoid because I'm not used to that.
Yeah. That's interesting, Bree, because we did a shoot at Ruby Tuesday yesterday, and their salad bar, because everyone loves Ruby Tuesday salad bar, it's still not self-serve. So they got to pick the stuff for you. But then I went to Yogurtland, and you could just get the stuff. They give you the cup, you get the yogurt, yada yada. So I don't know what.
Wow.
Also, Froyo is still self-serve.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I touched they give you gloves and so I don't know.
They give you gloves.
Yeah,
so.
they do. Right.
There you go.
But what were people saying?
Yeah, it's none of that.
Brie, because I know as a reporter, everywhere you go, you're probably doing a lot of eavesdropping. But what do people in the States who are living there think of the pandemic? Do they think it's a lie, or are they taking it serious, or just what do you hear out there?
Well, I didn't do a whole lot of, going out or anything. Yeah. So I really didn't get a chance to talk to a lot of people other than my family because, I wasn't there for a vacation. It was to, take care of my dad. And so it was hospital, the nursing facility, the rehab center, and back home and taking my mom to her medical appointments back and forth. So sorry, I didn't really get a chance to talk to a lot of people about what was happening out there.
What about your family? I mean, I know your parents are ill, but your brother, does he take it serious, or just what's his thoughts?
Oh, yeah, of course he takes it serious. We both were walking around with our alcohol sprays everywhere we went, getting in and out of the car. Yeah, because, he takes care of my parents and they're vulnerable. So he's always been, since it started, he made sure that my mom and dad, were taken care of. They're fully vaccinated. And he's also fully vaccinated. My brother flew in from Oklahoma. He's also fully vaccinated. He was sick at one point. So he's very cautious. So we're all very cautious. Protocols are not, we wore the masks, we sanitized constantly and disinfected.
Well,
and I see a familiar face.
Yep, look who came to breakfast.
In the Zoom room. Hey, what did you get for breakfast?
I got the same thing you did. Those are actually longanisa. Those are actually longanisa, Brie.
Oh, okay. Oh, little sausage. Sorry, but yeah, it looks good. This is all right. Ducet is providing the meals, I think.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Hey, Ness. Good morning, Nestor.
Good morning.
Yeah.
And welcome home.
Yeah, we really got to quarantine Nestor because he came from the PI, and the two of the UK variant cases came from the Philippines. Nessa, welcome back.
Yeah, it's. Sorry, go ahead.
You were in the PI for the Philippines for a few months. I really am so malago to travel to the Philippines, but I hear it's not doing so good. What's the situation there, Ness?
Yeah, actually, you can't get in. There's no international travel except for certain categories. but yeah, it's not. They're not doing that well. Obviously, Guam's doing much better. They're having issues securing vaccine, and they're still have not really gotten any a grip on the infection rates. It's still pretty high. So, and they're doing quarantine. They did a lockdown a couple of weeks ago, reopened slightly, but it's still not good.
Wow. So
what kind of a vaccine? I know that we spoke a while ago. Are they offering? Is it still just AstraZeneca?
It's AstraZeneca and Sinovac, which is a Chinese vaccine. So yeah, and they're doing their their version of the FDA is doing those EUA. Yeah, it's still the rollout is very slow. They've started, and it's the same sort of categories. The elderly, the frontliners, and the elderly, and then they'll get to the general population. But there's the Philippines is a population of 100 million, and so they're a long way. They're a long way from achieving any sort of herd immunity. And when I say a long way, it could be a couple of years.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I mean that's having gone to Manila and the outlying areas and seeing just how crowded it is. Has that presented a challenge? I mean, obviously it has in stopping the spread and just social distancing and all the other things that are effective against COVID.
Yeah, Manila in particular, because Manila and the national capital region, which is just the whole bunch, which is essentially Metro Manila. That's the population that's having the most difficulty because it's such a dense population. Manila is one of the densest populated cities in the world. So that's one of the problems. And then, like I said earlier, the lack of vaccination. But as far as the outlying provinces, it's not quite as bad. Well, not nearly as bad as the situation in the Metro Manila area.
Yeah. Now, Ness, you were not only saying that how difficult it might be for someone like Chris to get in, practically impossible to get in. It actually took you quite a while to actually get back here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, I was since I can do my job online, so that's why I wanted to take advantage of being over there with family. So yeah, I extended a couple of months.
Right. Now, so when you talk
it's almost though as if you never left.
Yeah, because you were doing so much. Yeah. When we talk about the surging there, are they seeing in the Philippines a high number of deaths and hospitalizations?
That's another big problem too, is the hospitalization rate. They're at max capacity, over 90% in all of the public hospitals in the Philippines. In fact, that's one of the things that it keeps coming up in the media is folks that get sick, not necessarily with COVID, but get sick and can't get into a hospital. And that's one of the things that Guam has tried to prevent, has been very successful at, is keeping that hospitalization rate down low, because you want to avoid what is happening in Manila, which is the lack of any hospital capacity.
What are the people feeling, Ness? I mean, is there a lot of just, I'm sure, anxiety, fear?
Yeah, there's a lot of that. Millions of people are out of jobs. The government is doing its best to provide for that, but the resources are not what we would find here or in the States. For example, we get our EIP money. In the Philippines, I believe it's equivalent of $20 per person, 1,000 pesos. So that gives you a way to compare, the situation over there. In some places it's pretty dire. It's tough. It's really tough. I don't know how else to convey it, but people are struggling.
Well,
Definitely.
I mean, yeah, let's
Yeah.
count our blessings here as, people are, we are doing really good. I was talking with a restaurant manager, a couple over the last few days, and they're doing better than they did before COVID, Nestor. Even at these,
Yeah.
whatever the capacities are, because we've got the stimulus, we got the PUA, like people have money here. So when you tell me that the PI stimulus was $20 and we're looking at, our residents, a lot of them who have kids because of this new stimulus, it's like $1,400 a pop for all your dependents. I mean, there are people who have never seen a check for, 4 or 5 grand getting checks for 4 or 5 grand. So yeah, we're pretty lucky.
Yeah, we definitely should count our blessings.
Yeah. So
I mean, you just got to look at other places in the world and see what the impact of the pandemic has been on them, and then look at how we're faring here, and it puts it all in perspective.
It does. So when you talked about very limited closed off travel to the Philippines, is there anybody who can travel? And if so, who and for what?
Yeah, there's Philippine nationals can, OFWs, which are overseas foreign workers, can return. Foreign nationals with spouses or children in the Philippines can return. And that's pretty much it. I might be missing a couple, but it's those specific categories that are allowed to return to the Philippines.
I wanted to ask Ness before I let you go, because there was this thing that the former Governor Gutierrez, the president of GVB, and the permitting czar, they floated this idea in the press conference, and I know that you had kind of asked about it, but this giving American expats who are staying in the region the opportunity to come to Guam and to get vaccinated, vaccine tourism, I think. And I've seen that they're doing this also in other places. Like I read a story of Latin America, some guy had come to the U.S. to get vaccine. But right away, when I hear the term American expats, I always think of the Philippines, right? So do you think that's something feasible? And
yeah, and well, it depends, because they may want to come here because they know that it will be very difficult for them, and it will take a long time for them to get vaccinated. But then their issue is maybe getting back into the Philippines. So I don't know if that would be a consideration that they would have to weigh.
Wow, no one thought of that.
It depends on their specific situation. But yeah, I think American expats here, or British expats, as I say here, I'm back in Guam, back there, would definitely, I think, be interested in the opportunity to get vaccinated. It just depends on their situation and being able to get back to.
That's so interesting. I can't believe I didn't think of asking that when I had Gutierrez on. Like, how are these people going to get back if they can't even get back? So, hey, will they stay here and spend all their money, I guess, would be the ideal situation.
What about the flights? Are there any issues with the flights coming back or going over there? They're allowing, the Philippine government has allowed a total of 1,500 arrivals per day, and that's spread out among all the airlines that service the Philippines. And of course, the national carrier is the Philippine Airlines. The flight that I was on, they used one of the smaller planes, I think probably 150 seating capacity, and it was, I would say, about a third full. And for example, I had a whole row to myself, and then they block off the middle seat in each row, unless you're a couple. So yeah, there is still flights. Like Philippine Airlines, I think, is flying once a week now on Sundays to Guam. So it's very limited, but it's still functioning. I went through the airport, and it was a ghost town. Yeah,
basically.
Same.
Knowing what it's like typically at the Manila International. It's it's a far cry from the way it typically is.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, you get a massage in that one little room before you head out to Guam. That's typically they put the blanket over you, and you get, I mean.
Yeah, those massage are prohibited right now. Anything that
I don't
involves,
think those will be running for at least a few months.
Man. All right. Hey, Nestor, Sabrina, live. They're all the way live from the Dusatani Quarantine Hotel. Let's go ahead and take care of news. We've got, I want to say, about 3,000 nurses coming on for Nurses Appreciation Day at 8:21 with the
Also,
very
by the
latest-
way,
yeah.
we mentioned happy belated birthday to Mr. Byrne. Fittingly, on Nurses Appreciation Day, our friend Nurse Jen Artero, it's her birthday today
Oh, wow.
on Nurses Appreciation Day.
There you go. 8:21 with the very latest from the KUAM News team. Jason Solis, good morning.
All right, good morning and good morning, Guam, everybody. Our island continues to grieve after learning of the 138th COVID-19 related fatality recorded Wednesday at the Guam Regional Medical City, a little before 11.